We back with another one. We're gonna talk about how to lose this belly fat. We're gonna talk about how to lose this belly fat. I wanna get you in shape. I wanna get you right. I wanna make it simple. I don't wanna overcomplicate this. I feel like it's a lot of information on these platforms that are confusing people. I'm gonna make it easy for you. I'm gonna make it make sense. I'm gonna make it 1, 2, 3. We're gonna talk about how to lose this belly fat. If you somebody that's been struggling to lose it, guess what? You came to the right place to get the right information. You came to the right place to get the right information. I'm always about transparency, so do me a favor while you here. Drop your questions. I'm gonna give you all the game that you need if you listen to me. I'm gonna give you all the game you need. No gimmicks, no cut cards. It starts off with this. Everybody at the end of the day has a six pack, whether you wanna believe it or not. Everybody at the end of the day has a six pack, whether you want to believe that or not. The only thing that's stopping you from seeing your six pack is the body fat percentage. I'm gonna repeat myself one more time for those in the back that didn't hear me. Everybody has a six pack. The only thing that's stopping you from seeing your six pack is the body fat percentage. We're gonna go over 3 things you need to do in order to drop this body fat. If you can't see the abs, do understand one thing. You have abs, it's just something in the way. And we're going to disclose all that information. Remember, while you here, drop your questions if you have any questions, because it's all about transparency. I want you to know one thing. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I've been in this game for a long time. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm a certified personal trainer. I am not an influencer. I am a certified personal trainer. So you came to the right place to get the right information. We're not going to do no gimmicks, no extra, no BS. I'm going to give you straight facts of what you can be doing. There's 3 things you need to focus on if you really want to see that six pack. It's 3 things you need to focus on if you really want to see the six pack. But I like people to understand the basics before we get real into the nitty gritty. Because I feel like if you don't understand the basics, it's a lot harder to really get what you want. You need to understand the fundamentals to get what you want. And the thing is, I want you to understand, when you tapping in with me, it's not just about getting what you want. It's about hitting your goal and then being able to maintain the goal with ease. But you got to know what to do. First thing I need you to understand, this is something that's extremely overlooked. This right here, 5 pounds of fat. This right here is 5 pounds of muscle. When we weigh 5 pounds on the scale, 5 pounds is 5 pounds. It is what it is. But yet, this is 5 pounds of fat, and this is 5 pounds of muscle. A lot of people fail to realize they already have muscle. Everybody has muscle. Once again, you already have a six pack. The only thing that's stopping you from seeing your six pack is going to be what? The body fat. It's going to be the body fat percentage. So once we start getting rid of this body fat, then guess what we're going to be able to see? We're going to be able to see more definition. We're going to be able to see more tone. You want to see your abs? You want to see your arms? You want to see your shoulders? We need to drop this body fat. You got a little bit too much of it. I'm going to show you something else so you can understand where I'm coming from. This is the chart. It's all the body fat percentages. All the way up. Females can go as high as 45%. I try to get women to understand one thing. Women can't carry more body fat than males. It's another reason why it's a little bit easier for males to see the six pack at the end of the day. But I want us to understand, once again, if you can't see your six pack, it's because guess what? We got too much body fat. We got to drop a lot of this body fat. So look, the higher we are in this scale, what's happening? You see less and less definition. The lower we get in this scale, what do we see more of? We see more and more definition. Remember, drop your questions if you have questions about anything that I'm going over. Like I said, it's all about transparency. I'm going to give you a lot of game for the free 99 right now. I'm going to give you a lot of game for the free 99 if you're really tapping in. But do understand, The lower we go in body fat, the more definition we're going to be able to see. Check out 8% in comparison to 20%. Night and day difference. 8% to 20%. Night and day difference. So do understand, one thing you really want to focus on in order to see the definition that you're looking for is going to be dropping this body fat. The more body fat you drop, the more definition you're going to see. There's 3 things you need to focus on to be able to drop this body fat. First thing you need to focus on is going to be maximizing your recovery. I talk about this all the time. Recovery is important. Recovery is key for real. You can only perform as well as you recover. You can't maximize not just your physical performance, but your mental performance as well if you ain't maximizing your recovery. There's so many components that go into recovery. Recovery is key. I don't look like this if I'm not maximizing my recovery. I'm just letting y'all know that. Recovery consists of quality sleep. Try to get as close to 8 hours of quality sleep that you possibly can. We need to make sure that we maximizing our rest days. We don't talk about rest days enough. Rest days are very, very important. Yeah, you can train 7 days a week, but do understand that training is breaking down the body. Once again, you can train 7 days a week, but I need you to understand that training is breaking down the body. And if you're not maximizing your recovery, what are we doing with that? We're increasing the chances of us getting injured. We're increasing the chances of us not getting the results that we're looking for, because recovery is very important. Recovery is making sure we do the proper stretching in the proper moments. We're doing dynamic stretches before we get into our workouts. And then after we finish our workouts, what are we doing? We're doing static stretching. Static stretching is when you're holding it. Dynamic stretching is with some type of movement to get the areas that you're about to take through the workout activated, properly warmed up. We need to understand that recovery is very important. Nutrition is a part of recovery. Because if you're not maximizing your nutrition, how can you maximize your recovery? There's so many things that you need to focus on when it comes down to recovery. And if you're not maximizing your recovery, I do need you to understand, you will stagnate in results. Foam rolling is a part of recovery. I don't recommend foam rolling for 45 minutes. A good 15, 20 minutes of foam rolling, you're good to go. Do understand that you don't need to foam roll for hours on hours on hours on hours. But we do need to implement some type of foam rolling. We need to implement some type of massages. It's the difference between deep tissue massages, as well as, don't forget, we got sports massages as well. These things have a time and a place. And when implemented properly, mainly for those who are working out 6-7 days a week, do understand these things are going to allow us to build the physique that we want, because it's going to allow us to maximize our recovery, mainly if we're following the other things. Remember, recovery is key. If you are not maximizing your recovery, it's going to be that much harder for you to get the results that you're looking for. Remember, while you're here, I'm going to go over a lot. So drop your questions if you have questions about anything that I'm going over. I'm going to give you a lot of game, teaching you how to lose this belly fat. But before we get too deep in it, I need you to understand, this is 5 pounds of fat. This is 5 pounds of muscle. 5 pounds on a scale is 5 pounds. But you and I can both understand one thing. This is 5 pounds of fat. This is 5 pounds of muscle. And this is the reason why you can't see your 6-pack. This is why you can't see your 6-pack. Everybody has a 6-pack. The only thing that's stopping you from seeing your 6-pack is going to be what? You have entirely too much body fat. Once again, going back into this chart right here, the higher you are in this chart, the less definition we're going to see. The less definition that we're going to see. You get where I'm going? You get where I'm going? Well, the lower we go, look at that. Look at them abs. Abs starting to pop out on them. So if you're looking for definition, do understand it's not in you just losing weight. It's going to be relative to you what? Dropping the body fat. Next thing we need to understand, this is the male chart, by the way. Once again, the higher we go, less definition we see. The lower we go, the more definition we see. Everybody has a 6-pack. The only thing, once again, that's stopping you from being able to see your 6-pack is you have entirely too much body fat. And if you follow these 3 things, you're going to be able to break down a lot of this body fat. I got a question. It says, what do you recommend to do if you're new to the gym? I'm going over a lot of this stuff before we get into the nitty gritty. So I need you to pay attention to these basics. I'm going to give you a lot for my newbies. This is something that you need to understand, you being new, so you don't get frustrated when you spend all of this time in the gym. I'm going to break down a lot of these basics. It says, how long would it take to be 20%? Depends on where you are and relative to what you're doing. Are you following these 3 things that I'm actually going to break down for you? It's going to dictate how long it's going to take. Because if you're not tightening up on these 3 areas that I'm going over, the first area that I'm going over is recovery. We just went over recovery. Recovery is going to be important. So think about this. If you're not maximizing your recovery right now, then what do we need to do? We need to tighten up on our recovery. This is going to be very important. Recovery is key. Remember, you can't maximize not just your physical performance, but your mental performance as well if you're not getting enough sleep and you're not maximizing your recovery. It says, how do we maximize our recovery? We just went over this. I'm going to go over it again because you missed it. In order to maximize recovery, we need to make sure we're doing all of these things. We're stretching. Remember, we're doing dynamic stretches before we get into our exercises to properly warm our body up and get it activated for the things that we're about to put it through. We need to make sure we're doing our static stretching at the end as well as on off days, because this is going to alleviate the tension that you're applying to the body from just your daily activities as well as your workouts. Because remember, your workouts are breaking your body down. We need to make sure nutrition is a part of recovery too, that we're eating right. Eating right is going to help us, mainly when we're eating the right things. This is going to allow us to maximize our recovery. Do understand, you eating a bunch of the junk food, you eating a bunch of the extra stuff that's not beneficial, it's not helping you maximize your recovery because it's not properly nourishing your body. Nourishment is a part of recovery. A lot of people miss this. Making sure we maximize our off days. Off days are going to be very, very, very important. And what I mean by off days is we're taking time out of the gym. Some people love to think that if I train 7 days a week, I'll get better results. That's not how it works. Mainly if you're not maximizing your recovery. I see so many people get frustrated because they like, you know what? I'm going to work out more and more and more. And then they put in all of this time and they like, I don't see but so much of a difference with my body. It's because you're not maximizing your recovery. Recovery is key. Do understand, another thing when it comes down to recovery is going to be maximizing your sleep. Sleep is very important. Sleep is not for the weak. Sleep is for the strong. For those who want to perform at high levels mentally as well as physically, you need to make sure you get your rest. How many of us have experienced lack of sleep and noticed how we were edgy? So many different things we were noticing. We was forgetting stuff. We were all over the place. We was fatigued after a while. You got to make sure you're maximizing your recovery. Another part is going to be, people miss this, trying to get as close to 8 hours of sleep as possible. That's going to be very, very important. If you're not getting close to this 8 hours of sleep, and I'm not saying you have to get 8 hours of sleep, trying to get as close to 8 hours of sleep as possible is going to be a game changer because it's going to allow the body to rebuild and repair itself from the daily activities and the workouts that you're putting through that is breaking it down. We need to understand these small fundamentals. Sis, thank you for the information. Thank you for tapping in. Look, this is just the start. We only got into recovery. Remember, it's 2 other things that you need to focus on in order to lose this belly fat. I'm going to break everything down for you to make it make sense. I want you to be successful in your fitness journey. I want you to be extremely successful in your fitness journey. So I want us to understand this. The more you understand these basics, the easier it is for you to be able to get what you want out of your journey. A lot of people get frustrated because they miss these steps. These are the steps that you need to take to be successful at not only achieving your goal, but guess what? When you're on the other end, it's that much easier to maintain your goal. I want to make sure that we're able to maintain what we be doing. I've been able to maintain this type of physique for years, whether I've been going intense with my workouts or whether it's time for me to take a break. And I'm going to tell you right now, I look a lot better when I give my body the proper rest that it needs. You get where I'm going? And I want y'all to understand this information is not coming from an influencer. I am a certified personal trainer. I am a certified personal trainer. I've been training since 2009. I ain't new to this. I'm true to this. I've trained thousands of clients and helped them get in great shape. And I want you to know the fundamentals you need in order to not only get in great shape once again, but maintain great shape. You get where I'm going? Keep that going. Do understand this. Do understand this. So I want you to understand once again, going back to it, this right here, 5 pounds of fat. This right here, 5 pounds of muscle. However you weigh this on a scale, 5 pounds is 5 pounds, correct? If you weigh 5 pounds of chicken and you weigh 5 pounds of rice, it's going to say 5 pounds, correct? So I want you to understand, if you got too much body fat, we're not going to be able to see that six-pack. Everybody on this live has a six-pack. The only thing that's stopping you from seeing your six-pack is your body fat percentage, and we got to drop it. And remember, one of the fundamentals that we need to make sure we're maximizing is going to be what? Recovery. It's going to be recovery. Recovery is key. Recovery is key. If you ain't maximizing your recovery, you will stagnate in results, unfortunately. I'm going to be real with you. Think about it. Think about it. We've all been through the phase where, oh, I don't need no sleep. I don't need no sleep. Look how you start crashing out on little things. Look how you notice at the end of the day, you weren't operating at high levels physically or mentally. You start going to the gym. You start noticing your workouts, you're not lifting the same weight you was lifting. It's taking you longer to do daily tasks that took you sometimes seconds, sometimes hours, sometimes minutes. However long it took you, you start to notice that it was slowing up for you to get it done because you weren't maximizing your sleep. And I need you to understand that the body is repairing itself when it's sleep. The body is rebuilding when it's sleep. But I do also need you to understand, this is why working out can get a little tricky. It's because your body is memorizing everything that you're doing. Your body is memorizing everything that you're doing. That's the main reason why a lot of people that's on this live that have experienced dropping 15 pounds the first month, they only drop maybe 4 pounds the next month. The body memorized what you're putting it through. So you need to make sure once, let me not get too far. Let me not get too far because I want to make sure we're breaking down everything. But once again, first thing you need to focus on is going to be recovery. Recovery is so overlooked. Everybody always talk about nutrition. Everybody always talk about training. But why we think a lot of these athletes get injured when we start getting to the playoffs? Recovery, sleep, rest. They've been working out so much. The body tapped out. It's done. It's done. It's tired. It needs rest. And this is another reason why they can't take it to the next level sometimes. It's because they overdid it. Not getting enough rest. Nutrition is not on key, not on point. So I need us to understand those small things. But remember, I'm teaching you the fundamentals if you're paying attention. You'll be able to get fit for a lifetime if you pay attention to these fundamentals. Next thing we need to talk about is going to be nutrition. You cannot out-train a bad diet. I'm going to repeat myself. You cannot out-train a bad diet. Bad habits, we got to break those. We got to break them. You think you're going to get in shape from eating the same things you've been eating that got you out of shape? I want to ask you again, do you think you can eat the same things you've been consuming that's got you out of shape to get you in shape? It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. It doesn't work like that, unfortunately. You can also get in great shape without having to use scales. You can also get in great shape without having to count calories. I've been doing it for years. I never used a scale a day in my life. I never counted calories a day in my life. I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't. It's not something that I do. Am I saying is that going to work for everybody? I'm not saying that. Because some people need to see those metrics to move forward, to get a better understanding of what they're consuming. I understand what I'm consuming. I'm a gardener. I pull my fruits and vegetables from the ground. A lot of y'all are focused on, I'm not going to say focused on, but getting your nutrition. Well, I'm not going to say getting your nutrition, but putting your nutrition in other people's hands. And what I mean by this, you loading up on DoorDash, you loading up on Uber Eats, you at restaurants all the time, you drinking loads of alcohol, You eating junk food all day, not realizing how much it takes to work this stuff out your system. It takes a lot to work this stuff out your system. You're consuming low quality foods. I want y'all to understand one thing. Your body is a top tier vehicle. Think of a Mercedes. Think of a Bugatti. Think of a Ferrari. Think of an Audi. You need to put premium gas in these vehicles. So I need you to understand, in order to perform at not just high levels physically, but mentally, we need to make sure we're fueling our body with the right things. It's not about chugging protein shakes all day. It's not about you need creatine to build muscle. You don't understand the fundamentals. The more you understand the fundamentals, the easier it is for you to not only get what you want, but maintain what you want. And I want you to understand, eating healthy is not expensive. Ordering from DoorDash is expensive. Ordering from Uber Eats is expensive. Shit, the $15 meal that you spending, that would be if you went to the store, it's costing you $27, $30. And you want to say it's expensive. I see so many people that spend so much money on alcohol. Alcohol ain't cheap. And it's not beneficial. It's doing nothing for your body at the end of the day. So I want you all to understand that eating healthy is not as expensive as you think. You just haven't made it a priority. You just don't see the value in eating healthy. But you see the value in ordering DoorDash because you so-called ain't got time. Mind you, you waiting the same amount of time for the DoorDash order to get dropped off to you, and it takes the same amount of time for you to cook the food. We got to make it make sense. You're not making food a priority. That's the issue. And do understand, if you're not consuming high quality foods, you will perform at low levels on a regular basis. I don't care how you want to put this. You're not going to be able to perform at high levels mentally or physically if you're eating foods that are barely nourishing your body. And the average fast food spot or restaurant is giving you low quality food. They are. You don't want to admit it, but they are. You see the difference. You still hungry sometimes after you consume this food. And you wonder why. Because it's not nourishing the body. Another thing when it comes to nutrition, we talk about water. Water is going to be important. Eating your vegetables. I always get so many people talking to me about how much protein should I consume. You barely consuming vegetables. You worried about protein, but you barely consume vegetables. Let's keep it real. You need more vegetables in your diet than you need protein, for real, for real. Let's keep it a buck. Let's keep it real. The average person that I talk to, I'm like, all right, name vegetables that you eat on a regular basis. Oh, I eat salads. The Caesar salad I get. Caesar salad ain't even healthy. It's loaded with cheese, croutons, and we ain't even get to the dressing that you just throwing all over it. You drenching all the dressing on it and making it even more unhealthy at this point. So I need us to understand, food is something you really need to tighten up on. You need to tighten up on that quick. And I do want you to understand that food is going to be something that you're always going to consistently adjust. Because you have to understand, the food that we consume in fall and winter is different than spring and summer. Like I said, I'm a gardener. I understand what fruits and vegetables are in season right now. The same fruits and vegetables that are in season right now are not the same fruits and vegetables that are in season in fall and winter. You have to understand these things. If you really want to get in great shape, you have to understand how to eat. And not just eat like it's a one size fits all. You have to understand how to eat for you. You got to understand how to eat for you. Think about it. Everybody's digestive system is not the same. We have things that some people can eat gluten, some people can't. It don't work for them at all. So you have to understand these things to really build the physique that you want. It's not about following your favorite bodybuilder and they showing you their meals that they eat. You worried about somebody that's on a level 30 and you on level 2. You worried about somebody that's on a level 30 and you on level 2. We got to stoop down to where we are. We need to focus on what we're doing. We need to focus on what we're eating. You might see what they consuming, but in reality, you're like, I don't eat that. I don't even like that. So why are you trying to mimic what someone else is doing when you should be understanding how to eat and eat for you? I want us to understand this. It's a lot of misinformation out here. Oh, you'll look like this if you chug this protein shake and you do this. No. You're not even working out as hard as these people that's pushing protein shakes. But we want to talk about protein shakes. The average, I train my clients at gyms, and I'm telling y'all right now, I see the work ethic at these gyms. I see the work ethic at these gyms. And a lot of y'all not training like bodybuilders. And if you're not a bodybuilder, you shouldn't be worried about what a bodybuilder do. I'm going to be real with you. If you're not a bodybuilder or trying to be a bodybuilder, you should not be worried about what a bodybuilder is doing. I'm not no bodybuilder. Look at my physique. I'm not a bodybuilder. You ain't never seen me pose on none of my photos or pictures. I'm not no bodybuilder. You ain't never see me flex no muscle. I ain't tell y'all I was going to this show to do this. So I want us to understand you can still achieve the body that you want without doing a lot of these unnecessary antics. I want us to understand that. You can achieve the body that you want. You just have to understand the basics. I want you to understand, you know your nutrition is slacking if you keep saying it's genetics. I want you to understand your nutrition is slacking if you keep saying it's genetics. The average person is not even pushing their bodies hard enough to say that genetics is the reason why they limited. The average person that I see, I'm going to these gyms. I can name the gyms: Equinox, Lifetime, Planet Fitness, LA Fitness, Gold's Gym. Gold's Gym is an exception because generally a lot of athletes go to Gold's Gym. But I want us to understand one thing. The average person is not working out hard enough in order to say it's genetics. Let's keep it a buck. You still don't even understand how to eat. That's why you so reluctant on trying to use supplements. Supplements is not the end-all, be-all solution when it comes down to building the body. And I want you to understand this. I'm right now, look at my physique. I don't take supplements. I don't take any multivitamins. I don't take anything. I don't take no pills, no nothing. I don't take anything. No creatine, no testosterone. I don't take anything. A lot of y'all worried about testosterone. Your ass ain't even old enough. You're not even old enough to be worried about taking testosterone. Come on now. Let's keep it a buck. You're not 50, 60, and your test levels drop tremendously? What are you worried about testosterone for? Come on now. Mainly if you're eating healthy. You're not realizing that the foods that you're consuming are killing these things. The low quality foods that you're consuming from these fast food spots and these restaurants. We got to keep it real, y'all. We got to keep it real. You got to know how to shop. This is another reason why I say when it comes down to grocery stores, you need to understand the grocery store mission statement. Where are these fruits and vegetables and these foods coming from? We got to read the ingredients. Don't read the label. The labels are getting tricky. All natural. You flip it over, it's loaded with a bunch of chemicals. You got to read the ingredients. Don't get caught on what the bag look like. It's a nice color. All natural. No GMOs. No antibiotics. Hey, come on now. They hip. They understand that you want to make the change. So what are they doing? They making their necessary adjustments to make sure you still buying it. They gonna make sure they make their necessary adjustments to make sure you still buying it. This is another reason why I say flip the package around and read the ingredients. Read the ingredients. It says facts. Everybody wants the easy way though. It's not that everybody wants the easy way. There are people out here, don't get me wrong, because I used to work at GNC, and GNC made me realize that when I worked at GNC for 3 years, I've noticed everybody wanted the magic pill. There's no magic pill. I want you to think of Space Jam. This is the reality. You ever seen the movie Space Jam when Bugs Bunny put the tap water in the container and told him it was like the special juice, and now all of a sudden everybody psychologically think that the juice would... Come on now. You got to know the basics. The basics build the fundamentals. My issue is I'm noticing everybody wants to skip steps. They see the next person next to them with nice arms and not realizing that that person is at level 30 and they at level 2. It's nothing wrong with starting off fresh. When I first worked out, I was barely able to lift the barbell. I was barely able to lift the barbell. I'm able to throw 100-pound dumbbells. I'm able to squat 315 with ease. I'm able to deadlift 400 with ease. But these things came with consistency. You got to be consistent. If you're not going to be consistent, you ain't going to get what you want. If you're not going to be consistent, you're not going to get what you want. If you're not following these 3 things, it's going to be that much harder for you to get great results. Remember, the first thing we talked about was recovery. We're tapping in right now on nutrition. Nutrition is important. And you can't outwork a bad diet. You can't outwork bad habits. Little things that you can do right now for all of those that need to see it to believe it. I want you to go to MyFitnessPal and log in everything you've been consuming for the past 3 days. You can see how much protein you intaking. You can see your carbohydrate intake. You can see your fat intake. You can see how many calories you intaking throughout the course of a day. This is going to be a starting point for you to understand what adjustments you need to make. You might have even been noticing that you've been taking at least 6,000 calories a day. That's why you keep gaining all of this weight. You may not be noticing that the foods that you're consuming are loaded with a bunch of chemicals. Come on now. I'm going to keep it a buck with y'all. We can make the adjustments. We just got to be real. I always say this. One thing you got to be real with is yourself. If you want to make the change, you got to say, man, this ain't working out. I got to do something different, because you can't eat the same way to get in shape that got you out of shape. You can't eat the same way. It's not going to work. It's not going to work. You cannot eat the same way that got you out of shape to get in shape. You got to make adjustments. And as long as you focus on getting at least 1% better every day, it's going to make a world of a difference. Everybody wants to get in great shape overnight. What I want y'all to do is, how many people on this live right now have at least worked out for 1 year? If you worked out for 1 year consistently, do me a favor, put a 7 in the comments. If you worked out for at least 1 year consistently, put a 7 in the comments. I'll wait. That's a start right there when we're talking about consistency. I got 1 7. That's what I'm talking about. You on top of your game. That's what I'm talking about. You on top of your game. The fact that you've been working out for at least a year, we got a lot of information that we can adjust from. We got a lot of information that we collected that we can adjust from. Oh, was this weight too light? Was this weight too heavy? If I ate this before I worked out, how did it make me feel? If I ate this after I worked out, how did it make me feel? When I didn't work out for 3 days and I ate this, and this, what happened? Did I gain weight or did I lose weight? These are small things that you can see and make the necessary adjustments to start off. A lot of people miss that. You got the information. Mainly I see everybody in the gym nowadays want to record their workouts. That's documentation. You document how many reps you did, how many sets did you do, how was your form, how was your technique. These things are going to play a huge role in the results that you could potentially get. But I need us to understand, we got all these people on live. I had one person out of all of these people that said they worked out for a year consistently. I had one person on this live out of all of these people that said they worked out for at least 1 year. So that already says we got to work on consistency. We got to work on consistency. I want y'all to understand. This is why I don't talk about what I do a lot, because everybody doesn't realize I've been working out since I was a child. My parents put me in sports since I was 2.5, 3. I'm not exaggerating this. I'm keeping it a buck with y'all. I played soccer and baseball at a very, very young age. I've been active my entire life. Me personally, I feel uncomfortable when I'm not active. It may not be the same thing for you. Right now, for the past couple months, I work out easy. I have at least 8 workouts a week. 8. So meaning I'm doing 2 of these a couple days out of those weeks. Not everybody has that time available. Not everybody's dedicated to do things like that. And that's okay. It's about starting where you are. You don't got to train like me. You don't got to train like me. You need to be doing something that you can be consistent with anyway. So if you notice that you want to train 5 days a week, but you noticing you can only go 2 to 3 days a week, then start off with what you're doing. Let's build upon what you're already doing. Once you get more results, you're going to want to come a little bit more. Once you see the chest tighten up, once you start seeing the arms sculpt the way that you want, the quads start popping out, you're going to want to dedicate a little bit more time, because guess what? You're going to start to notice that you're reaping the benefits. You're getting rewards from the work that you're putting in. But you're not going to reap rewards or benefits from the work that you're putting in if you don't know the fundamentals. A lot of people skip steps. Oh, I want to work out 7 days a week, but they're not maximizing their nutrition, and they're not maximizing their recovery. They barely want to get sleep. They stay up all day, all night, barely getting sleep. Then on top of that, when they go into the gym, they barely working out. They on their phone scrolling. Just scrolling on in. I'm waiting for the machine. I'm still waiting for the machine that you've been on for a cool 15 minutes. I did 2 other exercises hoping you was going to be done, and I'm still waiting for you to be done. I'm just keeping it real, y'all. This is things that I've been seeing. I'm in the gym every day training a client. I train clients 7 days a week. So I want that to be clear. I train clients 7 days a week in person. So I want you to understand this is what I'm seeing in the gym from me being in the gym for years. When I used to manage the training department for a fitness club, I had anywhere between 6 to 18 trainers. You talking to somebody that's not new to this, I'm true to this. I've seen it all, done it all, damn it. So I want us to understand, the more you stay consistent, the easier it is for you to get what you want from your goals. You just got to know the fundamentals. The fundamentals are going to allow you to see results. Once you start seeing results, guess what's going to happen? You're going to want to do more. You're going to want to put in more time. So I need us to understand you can get more out of what you want if you understand the basics. You understand the basics. 2 things we talked about so far. 2 things we talked about so far. Nutrition, training. These things are going to be key. 2 things we talked about so far. I told you it's 3 things you need to focus on. Recovery. My bad. Recovery and training is the 2 things we talked about so far. The last thing, I already gave you the answer. It's going to be training. Training is going to be important. Training is going to be important. A lot of people overlook the importance of training. Training to me, this is my example of what training is. You're building a house and you're going brick by brick. This is what's building the foundation. You train how you look. You train how you look. I look the way I look because of how I train. And I want you to understand, I'm not no calisthenics person. I like to weight lift. I use machines, dumbbells, cables, and I throw body weight movements in there. Right now I'm doing pickleball 4 days a week. I play basketball at least 3 days a week, sometimes 3 to 5, depending on what time I have available. So do understand, how you train is going to dictate how you look. If you have muscle imbalances, do understand. If you want to train your chest and you want your chest to look good, do understand your chest not going to look good if you ain't training back. You want to get stronger with your upper body, but you're barely working legs. The upper body is going to get a lot stronger when you start training them legs. Everything works hand in hand. It's like one hand washes the other when it comes down to fitness. If you want something out of another area, generally you got to work the opposite muscle. If you want to get more out of your squats, you got to make sure you got good ankle mobility. You want to make sure the glutes are strong, the hamstrings strong, not just quads. Quads are predominantly worked. You want to make sure the core is strong enough so that you can actually move the weight. These little things are going to make a huge difference when it comes down to results. It's another reason why I tell people the scale can be one of your biggest liars. People love to think that they're going to look like me from just doing cardio. That's not how it works. You need to lift weights too. A lot of women think that lifting weights is going to make them bulky. No, it's not. It's not. If anything, it's going to help reduce the chance of you losing bone density. I'm just giving you game if you're paying attention. I'm giving you game if you're paying attention. Here we go. What's the best core workout? There's no such thing as the best. There's no such thing as the best. Y'all always want to say, what's the best arm workout? What's the best back workout? You need to make sure you effectively train these areas. That's going to be very important. You need to make sure you train these areas. It says, how old are you, brother? I'm 34. I'm 34. And guess what? It's no reason why I should be in great shape. I got 3 kids. I have 3 children. So I do want you to understand, you're not talking to somebody that's got a bunch of time in the world that can spend all day at the gym, that work out all day. I don't. I got bills to pay, and I got to spend time with my family too. I have 3 children at the end of the day. So I want you to understand, I'm not just shooting shit. I'm putting in the work. I got to be strategic. And do understand, me training in my 30s is a lot different than how I used to train in my 20s. The body's aging. Father time is undefeated. So you got to be even more strategic. I remember in my 20s, it was 1 month, I worked out every day the whole month. Every day the whole month. No rest, no nothing, going crazy. Am I going to do that now? You're tripping. You're tripping. I know when my body needs rest. And then also, I already understand that the more I work out, the more I'm putting wear and tear on my ligaments, tendons, and joints. Let's keep it real. I want longevity. I want to look like this as long as I possibly can. I want to look like this as long as I possibly can. And this is where training smart comes into play. I'm not just following a script of what somebody else did. You get what I mean? I'm doing the things that work for me at the end of the day and the time I have available. Yes, I am a certified personal trainer and I have access to the gym all day. So I can, if a client come late or if a client don't show up, yeah, I can put in the workout. But I understand if you don't have time like that, I know what to do for us to make the adjustments. There's things that I do on a regular basis that make it that much easier for me to not only achieve what I have, but maintain what I have. But I want you to understand one thing. I didn't do this from creatine. I didn't build my chest from taking protein shakes. You get where I'm going? I put in the work. I understand how to train my body. I understand the importance of using proper form, using proper technique. These is what helped me feel good. I have no injuries from training. From over the course of my years, because I always was slow and steady wins the race. I took my time. I don't just do free weights. I don't have a problem with using wrist straps when necessary, or sleeves for the knees and the elbows when necessary, or a belt when necessary. I'm not just using them all day, every day. You get where I'm going? I want us to understand that there's no the best exercise for this. The best thing you can do is address your muscle imbalances. A lot of people don't realize that. The best thing you can do if you decondition is work on getting conditioned. You should go through phases of your training. You shouldn't just be training to train. You got to go through phases of your training. If you want to get stronger, you got to go through phases to get stronger. You don't just get strong within 1 month or 2 months. You got to take your body through cycles. Once you start revving it up with the weight, you got to start deloading the body of weight. You get where I'm going? This is what's going to help build longevity. This is what's going to help reduce the chance of you getting injured. I don't want anybody on this live to get injured from doing the most. What I do when so when we had the lapse when everything shut down, right? When we had that lapse when everything shut down, you know one thing I did? I opened a membership. I'm not even a big fan of PF. I opened a membership at PF, right? And I say, you know what? I'm going to take my time here for at least 2 months and just get reacclimated. I ain't worked out in a while. I'm not worried about maxing out machines and doing all this unnecessary stuff. I say, you know what? I'm going to take my time. I'm going to take my time. This next 2 months, I'm going to get conditioned. I'm going to get my conditioning back. The beautiful thing that I loved about PF is they have the basic machines. Lat pull downs, chest press. You don't need all of these variations. Y'all get eluded by all these variations and you ain't even training like that. You ain't been training long enough. Your body fat percentage ain't low enough to do all of these different variations. You get where I'm going? Start off small, work your way up. Start off small, work your way up. Don't be worried about what somebody's doing at level 30. Don't worry about what somebody's doing at level 30 if you really at level 2. Remember, while we're here, drop the questions. I know I'm giving you a lot of game. Drop the questions, though. So I want you to understand once again. This right here, 5 pounds of fat. Right here, 5 pounds of muscle. However we weigh this on a scale, 5 pounds is 5 pounds, correct? 5 pounds is 5 pounds, correct? So I need you to understand the reason why you can't see your six-pack is because we got too much body fat. We got to drop the body fat. I just broke down the 3 things you got to do to drop the body fat. Another thing I want you to understand, and this is something that people don't realize. You eat the same way you do to gain weight, you eat the same way you do to lose weight, believe it or not. The only thing that's going to change is the portion size. The only thing you should change is the portion size. It says, where should I start at 46? With everything I just gave you. I just gave you the basics of everything you should start with. I just gave you the basics of everything you should start with. Open up a gym membership. I just told you, I didn't work out. I started off with the machines. Nothing wrong with starting off with machines. That's going to push you in all the right directions. And I want you to understand, your age ain't got nothing to do with starting. I've seen people get in great shape starting at 50. I've seen people get in great shape starting at 20. I've seen people get in great shape starting at 60. You need to focus on being consistent for starts. Tighten up on your nutrition. Focus on your recovery. Maximize your training. If you can only dedicate right now 3 days to working out, focus on those 3 days. Be very intentional when you start off with those 3 days. And I say this all the time. At the end of the day, if you want a shortcut, work with someone like myself. I'm a certified personal trainer. I'm going to make it easy for you instead of you trying to figure this out on your own. The average person wants to try to figure this out on their own. And they wonder why it takes so long for them to get where they want. Because you don't understand the small fundamentals. I just gave you the fundamentals if you've been paying attention though. I just gave you the fundamentals if you've been paying attention. Since I fell off, years no working out, been wanting to get back into it. Get back into it. That's all you gotta do is start. That's all you gotta do. Walk into the gym, start. That's all you gotta do. Don't overcomplicate getting back into it. Just start. That's what you gotta do. Just start. I want you to look at fitness like a job. I think people fail to realize this. If you don't show up for work, how much you expect to get paid? And then on top of that, if you're only showing up for 3 days of work, what the check gonna look like? What the check gonna look like? What the check gonna look like? It says, thank you. How do I schedule a consultation with you? All you gotta do is just message me. If you message me out, we'll take things from there. All you gotta do is just message me. I'll take care of you. And then I also say this too. I have a lot of tools that you can take advantage of already. If you're paying attention to my profile, give a lot of the free game. I give a lot of free game. Also, if you tapping in on YouTube, I do videos. I got a bunch of videos that you can utilize that teach you bench pressing, how to build abs, how to build your back. I've been doing this for a long time. I give a lot of game for the free 99 if you're paying attention. But if you're somebody that really want to get started, just message me at the end of the live. And we'll go from there. We'll start a conversation from there. But I want you to understand the fundamentals. I appreciate you sharing the live. Matter of fact, also do me a favor. Let's tap this screen and share the live. Let's tap this screen and share the live. Like I said, I'm giving you the game, no gimmicks. I'm giving you the game, no gimmicks. Don't be discouraged and think, oh, it's just genetics. No. I honestly believe that if you work as hard as I've been working, you can get great results. If you work as hard as I've been working, you can get great results. It's just you haven't been consistent. You haven't been consistent. You got to look at fitness like a job. You got to make fitness a priority. That's how you're going to get more of what you want. That's how you're going to get more of what you want. I want you to really think about it. If you only showed up for work one day out of the week, what that paycheck going to look like? If you show up for work every other week, what that paycheck going to look like? It's going to look a little skimmy. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's going to look a little skimp. So one thing I want you to understand once again is you can get everything I'm talking about. You just have to put in the work. Don't overcomplicate it. It starts with understanding this for starts. This is 5 pounds of fat. This is 5 pounds of muscle. However you weigh this on the scale, 5 pounds is 5 pounds. 5 pounds is 5 pounds. However you weigh that on the scale. If we put 5 pounds of chicken and 5 pounds of rice on the scale, they both gonna say 5 pounds. But I want you to understand, look how much the body fat is in the way. You already have a 6-pack. The only thing that's stopping you from seeing your 6-pack is the body fat percentage. That's it. That's it. And to drop the body fat percentage, we talked about the 3 things you need to do. You need to maximize your recovery, maximize your training, and you need to maximize your nutrition. That's all you got to do. Don't overcomplicate it. I don't want you to overcomplicate it. I don't want you to think that you got to create a $300 budget to purchase supplements. You don't have to do all of that. You don't. I want you to understand, if you somebody that's DoorDashing and Uber Eating it up, or you eating out damn near every day, you already got the budget to eat healthy. You just got to know how to shop. You just got to know where to go. Another reason why I say go to different grocery stores in your area and see what they offer. Use ChatGPT, Gemini, to understand where the grocery stores are getting it, are sourcing for their produce, are sourcing for their meat, so you can understand, are you getting quality or you getting bottom tier? I tell people this all the time. When it comes down to fruit and vegetables, as a child, my grandmother used to take us to the farmer's market. The farmer's market is not as expensive as you all think. Everybody loves to tell me that eating is expensive. No, protein shakes is just as expensive. And they still giving you gas. They still got you bloated. And they pretty much want to put you on a monthly subscription. They want you to buy the pre-workout, the protein shakes, and the creatine each month. You have to understand that creatine is at stake. You have to understand how to source for your foods in order to get what you want. I have programs available as low as $10 a month that give you a lot of this game for the free 99. I mean, not the free 99, but I give you a lot of this game for the cheap. If you want to enroll into it, just let me know. Just let me know. I got a Patreon that you can take advantage of. If you want to see what my Patreon offers, it's my name. It's my username. You can just easily look me up. It shows you all the programs that I offer on Patreon to make sure that people are getting in great shape. I'm not just saying this to say this. I'm not saying this because I've been an athlete pretty much all my life. But I want you to understand, my oldest client is 82. So if I can help my oldest client get in great shape and understand how to eat, I can teach you too. I don't always just train athletes. I don't just train celebrities. You get where I'm going? I train average Joes too. Just like you. And I want you to understand, despite everything you've been seeing online, do understand you can get in great shape. You just have to follow these fundamentals that I gave you. You just got to follow these fundamentals. This is, I know somebody who look good and not eating. I feel it. I feel it. Everybody knows that one. But and that's one thing too, I will admit. There are people out here that do look good that aren't healthy. We see it all the time with, some of these athletes. We see it all the time with some of these athletes. But do understand they put in a lot of work. And I will admit, I used to be that trainer. I used to be that guy. I used to say, you can eat whatever you want until I had a health scare. I want y'all to understand, if somebody's unhealthy and they're eating crazy, it's going to catch up to them at some point. Mainly if they're very consistent with it. Do understand, you can look good from the outside, but you can't see your insides. You can look good from the outside, but do understand, you can't see your insides. And the best way to understand what your insides are looking like on a healthy wise is to visit a doctor. It's another reason why I tell people all the time, get checkups on a regular from your doctor. It's going to let you know a lot of what you need to know about your body. Get your blood work done. For my males, get your test levels, so you know how much is declining as you age. These little things are going to help you out to understand what you should be doing and how you should be going about your fitness journey. These little things are going to help you build the fundamentals. The more you understand the basics, the easier it is, once again, for you not only to achieve your goal, but maintain your goal. I want y'all to really think about this. I asked one question. I asked everybody to put a 7 in the comments for those who worked out for at least a year. I only had one person on this whole live that dropped a 7. So that goes to show everybody on this live got to work on consistency. Consistency is key. Consistency is key in each area. You need to be consistent with your recovery. You need to be consistent with your training, and you need to be consistent with your nutrition. The more consistent we are with these things, the easier it is for us to get what we want. You got to understand the basics. But I only got a little bit more time. We got any more questions? We got any more questions? I only got a little bit more time. We got any more questions? If y'all flood me with questions, we good to go. Is what about if you don't got time to make some food or eat? You got to make time. It ain't about you ain't got no goddamn time. You got to make time. I'm tired of hearing you ain't got time. You got to make time. If you got time to go to work, you got time to make food. One thing you can do simple is, for one, I'm telling y'all right now, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. I train clients that are millionaires. And when people tell me they ain't got time, I see people that ain't got time. If you get what I'm saying. I'm talking about their time is money. You get where I'm going? And the average person that say they ain't got time, they just not making a priority. They're not. If you have over 3-4 hours of watch time on social media, you got time. You got time. You just not making time, or you don't have a plan. And that's something I want to teach you. There's meals that you can make that take 15 minutes. I tell people this all the time. I was the person when I used to cook, right? Because I got a private chef, me personally. When I used to cook, right? I'm gonna let you know one thing. When I used to cook, because I hated cooking so much, I separated my prep time and I separated my cooking time, so I would only spend 15 minutes in the kitchen max. So when I was in the morning making my oatmeal, because oatmeal really only take like 5-10 minutes, boil the water, then put your oats in there. Once they pop, let them out, right? What it do, big dog? How you feeling? Oh, I see you tapping in. I see you tapping in. I'm hoping you soaking in this information. I'm giving you a lot of free game. I'm hoping you soaking in this information. But do understand, One thing you can do, I used to do this all the time, right? When I'm prepping, not prepping, when I'm cooking my oatmeal, because I used to do oatmeal and eggs. Oatmeal and eggs take like 5-10 minutes. I said, you know what? Everything that I have to eat for lunch, I'm going to prep right now so that when it's time for me to cook it, it only going to take me 15 minutes to cook. So my vegetables, I chopped them up, prepped them up, fruits and vegetables, anything that I could, chop that up. When I was making my breakfast, sectioned it in bowls. Then going from there, rice only take 15 minutes and protein only took 15 minutes. What I did was brought a smokeless grill. I'm giving you game right now if you're paying attention. I brought a smokeless grill. Smokeless grill is pretty much like a George Foreman grill where you could put your chicken, you could put your veggies on it. It goes to a temperature all the way up to 400. It takes about 15 minutes to cook anything. Chicken, steak, you could put that on there. You could put your fish on there. Once you're done, it takes 5-10 minutes to clean. All you got to do is take off the grill part. Once it cool down, wash it, scrub it. Make sure it's prepped for when the next time it's time for you to cook. Another thing I did, because I didn't want to cook every time, was I made more additional meals for just me making meals to eat. Some people do this all the time. They cook just to eat for what they about to consume right now. Why don't you make more? Why don't you prep more so that you have meals already made for later? So what I used to do for lunch, while I'm making lunch, dinner's already ready, and I got one more meal for lunch or dinner tomorrow. I had one more meal for lunch or dinner tomorrow. So do understand, these little things are going to make a drastic difference. You have to know. A lot of y'all are not hitting your goals because you don't have a plan. I want to teach you how to have a plan. You could be more successful if you have a plan and a strategy. Like I said, it's not like you ain't got time. Like I said, I work with millionaires that ain't got time. I'm talking about they ain't got time, but you know what they do? They set themselves up properly. They say, you know what? I'm going to get a private chef to cook meals for me. Or it can be a scenario where they just order a meal prep service. Little things like Trifecta, Mighty Meals. They make the meals for you if you have the budget available. If you don't have the budget available, you're going to have to burn some time. It is what it is. It is what it is. But you can easily Google quick recipes that take 15 minutes to cook. Healthy recipes. You're not going the additional mile. And this is another reason why I keep telling y'all, you're not making this a priority. If you're not making it a priority, then guess what? It's going to be harder for you to get hit the goals that you've been wanting. It's going to be that much harder for you to get what you want. It's going to be that much harder. So I need you to understand, it's all about having a plan. And if you need a plan, tap in with me. Enroll into one of my programs. Tap in with me. It says he's not lying. I know. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm not making this up. The average person that keeps saying they don't have time to cook or make, you're not making the time. It's not a priority for you. You're not caring that much. Because once again, when you order DoorDash or Uber Eats, it's taking you the same time to get the meal, to cook the meal, and then you gotta hope that they put everything in the bag that you ordered. And then on top of that, you're getting low quality foods. If you go into restaurants, do understand, now you gotta work off all these oils, these seasonings, these dressings. Because what's the restaurant worried about? The restaurant is worried about you eating top tier. It tastes good. Don't get me wrong, you can get top tier. You're going to have to spend a little bit more at a restaurant. Your meal might be $50. It could be easy $50 to $100 if you want quality. Like I said, you're talking to somebody that's a gardener. I garden. I grow my food. You can do that too. You can use something as simple as a blue bucket from Lowe's. Go to Lowe's, get some soil. Go to a farmer's market. Some farmer's market, they sell seedlings, and you're going to have to spend some time. Do understand it takes 6 to 8 months for onions to grow. Some things take time, so now you can actually see some of the process if you want to go through that process. But that's a whole nother process. I'm not saying you got to do all of that, but it starts with the basics, the fundamentals. It starts with the basics. You got to know what to do. You got to know what to do. A lot of us don't have strategies. We don't have plans. And if you need a strategy and you need a plan, tap in with me. Just message me. We can figure something out. I got programs as low as $10 to point you in all the right directions. To make sure you understand the small fundamentals. Like I said, you can look like me without having to have a supplement budget. I don't take creatine. I don't drink protein shakes. You know what I'm saying? I don't do pre-workout. I don't drink coffee. Am I saying you got to go that extreme? No, I'm not saying you got to go that extreme. Am I saying supplements are non-beneficial? No, I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is the average person that is leaning on supplements to build the physique hasn't understood or know the fundamentals that they need to not only get the physique that they want, but acquire the physique that they want. That's a big difference. I can teach you that. I can teach you that in 1, 2, 3 without it being complicated. You don't got to do no extreme diets. You don't got to eat 260 grams of protein a day. You got to start off with eating them vegetables that you keep skipping out on, though. Let's keep it real. How many people in this live, let's keep it real, consume over 3 vegetables on a regular basis? Do me that favor. Type a 1 in the comments if you consume over 3 vegetables on a regular basis. I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait. Because I'm going to be real with you. I've been gardening for 2 years now, right? When I first started gardening, I started to realize how many fruits and vegetables we don't have access to at our local grocery stores. I understand that avocados and things like pineapples aren't something that we can just grab. They're coming from somewhere else. We can't just grow it in our soil. You got to understand these small fundamentals sometimes to understand where your produce is coming from. You got to understand where your protein is coming from. All protein is not created equal. They're getting tricky with this word. They're getting tricky with this word. And they see that people want to get healthier. And they're getting tricky with this word. I'm just letting you know. We got any more questions before I stab out? We got any more questions before I stab out? Because I'm going to tell you one thing. It's so much more information I can give you. It's so much more information I can give you. But I don't want to give you too much right now. I want you to be able to start using the information that I just gave you to start building that foundation. Start staying consistent with what you got going on. I appreciate you tapping that screen, by the way. Appreciate you tapping that screen. It said you earned a follow, brother. Hey, I've been doing this for a long time. I appreciate you with the follow, by the way. I appreciate with the follow. Like I said, I've been doing this for a long time. Check out my YouTube. It's way more information in depth on YouTube. All you got to do is click the link. All you got to do is click the link in my profile. And I'm giving you top tier quality. Top tier quality. I'm just letting you know I've been giving you a lot of the fundamentals. And like I said, go through my profile. Look at the exercises. Read the captions. I'm giving a lot of free game because I want it to be easy for people to, like I said, you ain't really got to throw money out there. I just want to make it easier for you to get in great shape. I give you a lot of the fundamentals already if you're paying attention. Look, we on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. I'm giving you a lot of the free fundamentals. You just have to utilize the information that you have access to. And you have to know how to use it, though. Not just utilize it. You got to know how to use it. You got to know how to use it. Any more questions before we stab out? Any more questions before we stab out? I appreciate you tapping that like too, Dave. And once again, I appreciate the follow. Like I said, just make sure you do me a favor and lock in with the information that I'm giving you, man. I want to get everybody right. It's getting harder and harder and harder to get in great shape. And it's getting harder because things are getting more trickier. Things are getting that much more trickier. We overlooking small things that we should be working on. You get where I'm going? You get where I'm going? Any more questions, by the way? Once again, thank you for everybody. If we don't have no more questions, thanks to everybody that tapped in on the live. When I get free time from time to time, I am going to jump on live. When I get free time from time to time, I am going to jump on live and give you loads of free game. Just tap in with the boy. And like I said, I want you to understand it's not genetics. You got to put the fundamentals in, man. You got to do the basics. The basics build the basics build the foundation. Understanding how to eat. It says thank you for speaking truth. Always. I don't want. I see. Like I said, for me, I see what's going on in the fitness industry. Everybody wants to sell somebody something. You get on live and you see your favorite bodybuilder. He's selling you something. I don't want to sell you something. Don't get me wrong. I want to make money. But I don't have to always sell you something. I want to give you at least basic information that you can start utilizing right now in order to get in great shape. And the information that I'm giving you, the beautiful thing about it is you can actually see results. There's no need to get frustrated. There's no need to quit. I want to inspire you to keep going. It's another reason why I say, if you right now, you just starting your fitness journey. If you're just starting your fitness journey, devote at least a year. At least a year. Don't get frustrated. A year. Tighten up on your nutrition. Tighten up on your training. Tighten up on your recovery. And you will get great results. You just have to understand the basics. The basics build the foundation. And a lot of people miss that. The basics build the foundation. You don't need to have $300 set aside a month for supplements. You don't need all of that. If anything, I always say this, invest that into your food. High quality foods at that. Do research on some of the brands that you're buying. If you feel like I'm a little shaky about this brand, do your research. Where is this stuff coming from? Another reason why I say, shop with your local farmers. Farmers gonna push you in the right direction. They give you the direct source. Shop with your farmers. Go to farmers markets. Even if they far from you, travel that hour. Travel that 45 minutes. I'm telling you one thing. I just did a test. Me and my family just did a bread test. And I'm telling you, the labels are getting tricky. We had three different brands of bread. Two of them said fresh, and one of them was just your regular bread that you just pulled off the shelf. And when I tell you I was astonished by two of the breads that never molded. It threw me off. It shows how much is actually in the food. Food should rot. Bread should mold. Once again, food should rot. Bread should mold. We've had this bread for 3 months. Still no mold. 2 of them. One of them been in the bag. One of them getting fresh air. 3 months. I want you to let that sink in. 3 months. No mold on 2 of these brands. So like I said, I just want to raise awareness coming from your local gardener, coming from your local certified personal trainer. I just want to raise awareness that you got to know where your food is coming from and what's in your food. You got to understand where it's coming from. I ain't going to go to the extreme of saying it's plastic, and it's not really. I'm not going to say it's plastic. It's a lot of the preservatives that's in it. It's a lot of the extra ingredients. It's a lot of the chemicals. It wasn't. But with that said, once again, tap in with your boy. If you somebody that's ready to take it to the next level, we have plenty of programs that's available. Last call. Any more questions about any of the information that I gave you? We went over a lot of information today about nutrition, training, and recovery. Remember, recovery consists of foam rolling, stretching, massage gun, rest days, nutrition. Recovery is a lot of that. You can't look like me without maximizing your recovery. Understand that. We talked about nutrition. Understanding where your food is coming from. Know what your grocery store is offering you. Test out some of these farmers markets. Talk with the farmers themselves. They're going to tell you a lot about how they grow. Why it looks the way it looks. Why the farmers market look different than a grocery store. You get what I mean? You got to understand a lot of these small things. Where your fruit and vegetables coming from. Where your proteins coming from. These are small fundamentals that are very, 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 very important. Understand that when it comes down to nutrition. We need to read the ingredients. We talked about that. That's important. Don't just look at the front of the bag. Because remember, they're getting tricky with the wording. It says natural. No antibiotics. When you flip it around, you're confused about all these words you can't even pronounce. Loaded with chemicals. I'm going to give you a great example. Me and my family, we make peanut butter from scratch. You know, one thing I've noticed doing peanut butter from scratch. Peanut butter only lasts 7 days. The average peanut butter that's on the shelf lasts at least 7 years. It's insane. Bro, your explanation skills and confidence is crazy. I appreciate that. I've been doing it. Like I said, for me, my confidence with this shows you how long I've been doing this though, bro. I've been doing this for a long time. You're not talking to somebody, remember, you're not talking to somebody that just overall is just saying one thing and doing something else. Everything that I'm telling you, I'm really practicing what I preach. I garden. Right now, me and my family are growing eggplant. We're growing red bell peppers, green, yellow. We have 2 different types of lettuce. We are growing watermelon. A lot of y'all may not even know a raspberry bush take a year to grow. We're working on a raspberry bush right now. You get where I'm going? Kale, zucchini. We're growing beets, onions. Like, I live this. This is what I do for a living. And I always tell people this. Ain't nobody paying me $500 a month to train with me once a week for no reason. Ain't nobody paying me $1,400 a month to train with me 4 times a week for no reason. I live this. I do this for a living. But my biggest thing is I want people to get more of this information, because the more I look at fitness on social media, is do this exercise and your arm will look like this. And the sad part is they're not even telling you the importance of body fat percentage. In order for your arms to look defined like this, we got to drop the body fat to start off. I want you to understand that weight loss can lead to losing muscle and losing body fat. We want to keep as much muscle as we want at the end of the day. A lot of people miss that. People always say, oh, I want a 6-pack. Why I can't see the 6-pack? You can't see the 6-pack because the body fat percentage is too high. The lower the body fat percentage is, the more definition we're going to see. Once we start going higher with body fat percentage, then guess what? The less definition we're going to see. And also with higher body fat percentage, a lot of people fail to realize this puts you at risk of heart attack, diabetes, high cholesterol. Because I want you to understand, if the body isn't able to get this food that you consuming out, mainly if it's low quality food, all it's doing is creating diseases in your body. All it's doing is creating a bunch of diseases in your body. You got to work that off. Everybody has a 6-pack at the end of the day. The only thing that's stopping you from seeing your 6-pack is your body fat percentage. So when I say a lot of what I'm saying is just to make sure people picking up what I'm putting down. Because sometimes I feel like trainers want to be extra scientific, and like, I get the science, but we ain't got to talk like a scientist if you ain't a scientist. If you a scientist on live, then of course I can start using science terms and we can go from there. But I try to make it logical so you can quickly make adjustments. More so than you confused about, damn, what did he just say? I want it to be 1, 2, 3, 4 for you to make the necessary adjustments to get the physique that you want. It's not hard to get in shape. People overcomplicate it to make it seem like they're smarter than someone else. I see that all the time. I give information online, and I got a trainer that don't got no clients. Oh, you confusing people. No, I'm not confusing people. I'm creating a conversation. That's one thing I always want to do. I want to create a conversation for people to actually make the change. The average person is confused. They don't know how to go about it because they've seen people. Of course, somebody that plays football is not going to look like somebody that plays baseball. I want you to understand these basics. The more you understand these basics, is that much easier for you to be able to get what you want. People always want to make it seem like they're the smartest person in the room so you can sign up with them. I don't care if you sign up with me or not when it comes down to fitness. I just want to make sure you get the game and get a full understanding of how to go about getting in great shape. Everybody can get in great shape. You just have to know how to go about it. Everybody can get like me. Everybody, oh, it's genetics, it's genetics. I've been in the gym for years. I've worked at the gym for years. And I'm telling you right now, it's not a lot of people that work out as consistently as myself. And I'm not saying that I'm that guy or anything like that. I'm just saying that's the fact. If you're willing to put in the work, I can show you how to get it done for sure. But when we talk about genetics, the average person ain't even consistent. We even said it on a live. I asked on a live, and I only had one person comment 7. Matter of fact, we're going to do it again. How many people currently on this live have worked out for at least a year? 1 year. Put a 7 in the comments. I'll wait. I'll wait. You know what I'm saying? Look at the comments. It's not a lot of people that are that dedicated to getting in shape. It's not a lot of people that are that dedicated to getting in shape. You one person. We had more people in alive and they still don't know. It says I was 35% body fat percentage once. I started lifting a year ago and now I'm 25. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Consistency is key, big dog. Keep up the good work. Keep up the good work. I'm 25% increasing muscle mass. I just turned. I feel it. I feel we can do it. We can do it. Chasing 15. Take your time. So this is the thing. I want y'all to understand this. And people don't talk about this about body fat percentage. That's why you hear a lot of people talk about weight. A lot of people talk about weight because it's easier to see change in weight than it is to see it in body fat percentage. Body fat percentage takes time. You can work out for 2 months and drop 2%. It takes time, depending on what you're doing. When people ask me how long does it take to get in great shape, it all depends on you being consistent in all three of these areas. Nutrition, training, and what else? Recovery. You being able to get consistent results is going to be relative to how consistent you can be in these areas. I've been there, done that. I've trained thousands of clients, so trust me when I say this. Don't always put a time on you trying to get in shape. I always say this, the best thing you can do anyway when it comes down to getting in shape is have a long-term goal and have a short-term goal. It's important to notice. Your long-term goal is, I want to get to 10% body fat percentage. Your short-term goals can be, I want to complete 100 burpees. I want to bench press 115. I want to squat 215 pounds. Those can be short-term goals. And do understand, when you're designing a program, they should be relevant to both. So meaning your short-term goals shouldn't contradict your long-term goal. That's one thing I see a lot. A lot of people like to contradict their goals too. They're like, oh, I want to have a six-pack, but I want to squat 405 pounds. I'm gonna be real with you. Generally, when you're trying to lift more weight, it's a lot easier to, once you start transitioning to gaining a little bit more, it's easier to lift a little bit more. And then as you gain a little bit more, it's a little bit harder to keep that six-pack. A lot of people want to talk about that. That's the thing. So you want to make sure when it comes down to your long-term goals, they don't contradict your short-term goals. I don't want y'all to do that. I see a lot of people do that all the time. Make sure the short-term goal is something that's going to keep you motivated, get you excited, that's going to help you tackle that long-term goal. Another short-term goal could be, I just want to drop 5 pounds. I want to drop 5 pounds, but your long-term goal is you want to get to 15% body fat percentage. So do be mindful of that. It says, yes, I can completely relate to this. Before weightlifting, I just chased weight loss and lost 15 kilos, but half of that was muscle. I know, that's one thing I always say, the scale can be the biggest liar too. Be very careful. The scale can be the biggest liar, because I tell people this all the time, mainly for those who want to lose weight. When you lose weight, you can't tell your body what to lose. You can lose some muscle too. So a lot of people that lose 20, 30 pounds and they just do straight cardio, they get upset because they like, why my body don't look more defined as I thought? You just focused on cardio. You just focused on cardio. You get what I'm saying? You just focused on cardio. So I want you to understand one thing at the end of the day. Don't just focus on losing weight. Focus on dropping body fat, because your body will look a lot better. And I've seen people do this plenty of times where they have this weight loss goal, mainly when I was working at the gym, because people that want to lose weight, I always say check body fat so you can see what I'm talking about. And if you somebody that wants to know how to check your body fat, all you got to do is buy a scale. I always say the little bit more money you spend on the scale, it can be a little bit more accurate, but it's not necessarily about it being accurate. It's about it more so being approximate. So spend like $100 to $200 on a scale, and you'll be able to move in the right direction. Also, when it comes down to the scale, I want to make sure y'all don't miss this. The most accurate time to weigh yourself is going to be in the morning. If you weigh yourself in the morning and then you weigh yourself later on, if you could drink water and you drink juice and you consumed all of this food, of course you're going to put on a few pounds. So just be mindful of that. But I do want us to understand that at the end of the day, the scale can be one of the biggest liars, because you can lose 10, 15 pounds and do understand one thing. You losing 10, 15 pounds, you can lose some of that muscle you was trying to keep on. And remember, you want to keep the muscle because the muscle allows you to be able to burn calories without doing anything. The muscle allows you to burn calories without doing anything. For those who have that friend that's super active and you like, how the hell they eat crazy? I see them eat so crazy, but they still in shape. It's because they have enough muscle to burn some of that off. For every 1 pound of muscle that you have, you could burn about 20 to 50 calories per day at rest. That's from you not doing anything. So just imagine if you was able to put on 10 pounds of muscle. You could burn anywhere between 200 to 500 calories per day at rest. It's another reason why you see a lot of athletes at the end of the day. They got some muscle on them. You see how a lot of these athletes eat. A lot of these athletes eat crazy. But they work out so much and they have so much muscle already developed, it's a lot easier for them to drop a lot of that weight or keep a lot of that weight off and burn a lot of those calories that they intake from them crazy meals. So just be mindful of that. You're going to see a big difference at the end of the day. Once again, the scale can be one of your biggest liars. Any more questions? I appreciate this. I see y'all coming in. Y'all coming in here with the questions today. Hopefully you've been taking a lot of information too. If you've been learning on this live, do me a favor and type a 7 in the comments. If you've been taking the information from this live, do me a favor and type a 7 in the comments. I gave a lot of free game today. Oh, I see a 7. That's what I'm talking about, big dog. And I appreciate you always tapping in too. You stay coming in and tapping in. Thanks for the information, brother. Always, man. We're here to help each other. Like I said, I know I got the information. I just want to make sure you're getting the right information. I know I got the information. I don't want to make sure we're getting the right information. Also, we got any more questions? Come on, I know y'all got some questions. You ain't got to be shy. Like I said, this is the best time to ever ask me questions. I always tell people this. If you ever wanted to ask me a question, the best time to ask me a question is on live. If you ever want to ask me questions, one of the best time to ask questions is when we jump on live, because I'm always about being transparent. The only time I'm not really going to answer a question when I'm on live is when I'm trying to get my point across. That's it. The only time I'm not going to answer a question is when I'm trying to get my point across. That's it. To make sure that you actually taking in this information, because it's a lot of information to take in when you trying to get in shape. And like I said, I see so many people go about this the wrong way or feel as though they know what to do, and in reality, they don't understand the fundamentals. We talked about a lot of the fundamentals so far. One fundamental we talked about was nutrition. Remember, when it comes down to nutrition, you got to read the ingredients. If you have to, I gave you some game. If you somebody want to know how many calories you're intaking right now, I need you to pull out that MyFitnessPal app and log everything that you've been consuming for the past 3 days, so you can see how many calories you intaking, how many carbohydrates you consuming, what's your protein intake looking like, what's your fat intake looking like. These things are going to be important. You got to know some of these small fundamentals. Am I saying that you're going to have to do this every day to stay in great shape? No, I'm not. He said it's 1 a.m. here. I appreciate you. I appreciate you tapping in, big dog. Truly means a lot. Make sure you tap in next time and take advantage of all the information that I'm giving too. I'm giving a lot of game. That's one thing I love to see. We get people tapping in from all over the world. My man said good night. Good night to you as well. Like, funny thing, it's 3 o'clock over here. Make sure you get some rest. So that's one thing we need to pay attention to. Remember, it's going to be nutrition. I told you, check out farmers markets. Talk to your local farmers so you can see where these foods are coming from. Understand, do a little bit more research on your grocery stores. It says, what's healthy but lean body fat percentage in your opinion for women? I don't go by opinion, I go by facts. I go by facts.
So this is what you want to pay attention to as far as healthy. Healthy is always going to be relative to whatever your age is. So if you can see on this chart, we got up to 20, 21 to 25. This is going to be here. Lean as you fit. I always tell people this. Lean as you fit. And ideally, you want to be at least in this range. Ideally. But it's okay to be closer to the yellow. It's okay to be closer to the yellow. But if we in that red would mean we in that obese area. We got to drop some body fat percentage. So this is going to be relative to age. For anybody that wants to find out this information in general, you can just easily look up body fat percentage. Just Google body fat percentage. Female body fat percentage is going to show you. And it's going to have ages on it too. So this is something you can simply find on Google. But we got 50, you said 50 years of age. I got to look at it this way because I ain't going to fake. You 22, you lean. You 22, you lean and mean. You lean, mean, and green. So do understand too, because I actually used to be lower, by the way. You don't want to go lower than these numbers. When you go lower than these numbers, it can get scary. If you go lower than these numbers, you can be scary. And Court, I'm not going to lie. You being at 22, if you're not training, I need you to be training. Because you came in here, you was dropping dimes too. Court, if you're not training at your age at 50, because there's a lot of women that don't want to train with me. There's some women that don't have no problem training with me. But it's a lot of women that want to work with women. It's a lot of women that work with women. I would suggest you qualify my eyes as a trainer. Because a lot of trainers that I'm seeing online nowadays, they out of shape. They out of shape. You said I lift 5 days a week. That's what I'm talking about. Keep up the good work. You're doing a great job. Keep up the good work. But you in that lean, mean, green machine. You in that lean, mean, green machine. But with that said, I do got to take care of some clients. Once again, thank you for everybody that's tapped in on the live. If you have any additional questions, do not hesitate to message me or drop questions below. I mean, not drop questions below, but just message me and we can go from there. With that said, I'm going to see you all on the next live. Make sure you enjoy your weekend and make sure you stay in shape. Get healthy for me. Let's get it. Let's get it.